My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching Omni X-Men.
You're here. That means it's Tuesday night, and we're talking about Omni X-Men, and that means I got Justin with me. No hype button.
Oh. Had to get some Phoenix in there. Come on. Yeah.
I mean, I've still got the green suit. Oop, I'm breaking my whole slab standard. There we go.
Don't do it.
I got the green suit.
Oh, nice. Hey, man.
And
we made it, dude. We made it.
Yeah, we're here. The third omnibus officially cracking open, taking care of that spine, exercising, stretch it out, take good care, maintenance of your omnibus.
It's a thing.
Omnibuses.
The omnibi.
And we have our most, no shame on anybody else, but I'm sorry, you are not the most dedicated fan of the show, the most passionate fan of the show, the most ready in the chat, comedically challenged member of the fan group for this show, the one and only Magic Lasso.
What's up,
Ryan?
How's everyone doing?
I mean,
Good,
man, it's so great to see you.
Yeah, you're not going to see me for a quick second.
Okay.
Back.
Hey!
I just realized the microphone isn't plugged in, so
I did hear a little echo. Wasn't going to shame you. We're willing to
No judgment.
go.
Judge free.
He's got an amazing Funko Pop shirt on right now that is absolutely blowing my mind.
Yep.
Stunning.
Love it.
Yeah. So you guys invited me to be part of this first show. And my initial thought was, this isn't Chet Scotland that you messaged. This is Magic Lasso. And then I thought, oh, they must going to be doing something bad to me on this.
Well, we are going to hit you with some fire questions,
Right.
rapid fire blow through some information and learn a little about you.
Yeah.
Cool. But I'm here to tell everyone that's watching in the chat a valuable lesson that I've learned. Being a smartass can get you invited on the show.
It's kind of our brand.
Yeah.
Totally.
And no shame at Chet. Chet is our guest next week over on Justin's channel. So as
Awesome.
a reminder, we oscillate back and forth channel to channel, and all the links to Justin's Instagram, to Justin's YouTube, to Ryan's Instagram, and to Ryan's YouTube, all of that stuff is in the description to this video, so you can subscribe and bounce around and make sure you spend some time hanging with these awesome guys.
Oh, yeah.
And in a second, we're going to talk a little bit about something awesome going on with Ryan these days. So don't let us miss out on that. But we're going to say hello to the chat, and then we're going to dive into the show a little bit here. For those that are new, this is Omni X-Men. Justin and I talking about Chris Claremont's epic run on Uncanny X-Men. We've done 2 full Omnis already. We are all the way up through issue 153. Tonight, we're reading issue 154. And we're going to get into all the nitty gritty of that. I even forgot to share the slideshow, but I will get it ready here in just a second after I'm done saying hello to the chat.
A reminder, too, to stick around because we got all our fun trivia based on
that's
last week's episode. So
totally forgot that. Yeah, each week we end the show with trivia questions so that you can get entered into the giveaway, the epic giveaway extravaganza we do in our finale at the end of the run. And you want to be there because Magic Lasso, he's not going to win everything, but he will win something. So you want to be there to stop him from winning everything else.
I was going to say, this is the real reason we brought Ryan on, is so that everybody else has a chance to get a little ahead to start, compared to Ryan. So
that's true. TM Nerdy Tailgater number 1 in the chat. Good to see you, sir.
This.
Candace is in the chat. She's going to be on the show later this season, so you be ready for that.
Candace.
We got Mr. Comics 89. I was on his channel last week talking about how Phoenix should kick the crud out of Shazam, and I was right, and you all agreed.
That's right.
It happened.
That's
right. Dale of Suspense is here. Good to see you,
Hey.
Dale. How are you
Good, Dale.
doing? We got Sove Collector. Mike's going to be on the show in a few weeks, too. We're going to have Michael on here to talk good stuff.
Nice.
Mr. Comics 89 says, hey, Lasso, when are you going to come on a knockout to argue for Wonder Woman? Nobody needs to argue for that. She just wins, right?
Yeah.
Roy Kirk.
Jackson Roy Kirk is here. What is going on,
Yeah.
Jackson Roy Kirk? We got Wheelchair Superhero 87. Good to see
Hey, Kyle.
you.
Nice.
J Hood with a new graphic. It looks like a little darker colors,
That's cool.
more muted colors. I see you.
I dig
I'm
it.
watching you. Mr. Scotland is in the chat, and when he's not exercising, he is talking smack in the chat. He says, Justin, next Tuesday will be crying about the Yankee elimination on Omni with me. There you go.
Buddy. How are those Mets, chat? How are those Mets?
All right, 27 more weeks, says so. He's like, I'm already looking ahead. 27
Yep.
weeks out.
He's got the
We
calendar ready to
We
go.
booked this show way in advance. We
Yeah, we
booked
did.
the show way in advance.
We're ready.
I have a YouTube complaint.
Yes.
2 times I have tried to post a Yo Mama joke into this chat, and YouTube will not accept it. So I am here to deliver my joke in person.
This is when we get shut down. Watch.
Yeah. Let's give him the big screen there. Here we go.
Yo Mama so fat when she stepped on Wolverine he couldn't heal.
So there
Welcome to Omni X-Men.
you go.
That'll be a clip right there. Very nice.
Right. Clip that. All right. So we're doing something a little different this season. We are doing a little getting to know our guest. Justin's going to run through some rapid fire questions for our guests. So let's learn a little bit about Ryan.
All right, and this is not going to be like my show where it takes an hour, for the rapid fire. This is
Remember,
really gonna be rapid.
I watched last week. I was in this chat last week watching,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I saw how long
It was not rapid at all. All right, well, let's run through this. First off, Ryan, who is your favorite X-Men character?
Jean Grey / preferably when she's Phoenix.
Okay,
She could be Dark Phoenix. That's okay too, but Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Jean Grey.
fair.
Now, how many people thought I was going to say the Disco Dazzler?
I thought so.
Lots of people.
Yeah,
I did
thought
not.
so.
I did not. I would have known that she's right just directly under.
I say it must be close. I assume
Yeah,
it's very
she's close, but no, it's Jean Grey, preferably Phoenix.
Got it. All right. Who is your favorite X-Men artist?
Ooh, I'm going to go with John Byrne back in the day. Not John Byrne drawing them now, but John Byrne
Sure.
drawing them back in the day. And that's
Like
no
what we're
offense.
reading.
His style has evolved a little bit, but so is most artists. I'm not saying his style is bad. It brings back more childhood memories for me with the vintage stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. What about your favorite X-Men story arc?
Dark Phoenix Saga. No
Makes
ifs,
sense.
ands, or
Makes
buts.
sense.
It's
Out of print,
100%.
but never out of fashion.
There you go.
Yes.
Oh, nice. That'll be a T-shirt. There you go, John. If you could have powers of any one mutant character, whose powers would you prefer to have?
Okay, this is going to surprise you, I think. Okay. I think my choice, because I have thought about this. Now, first, let me preface this by saying that if the Disco Dazzler's power was her voice, singing, that's what I would have picked. But her mutant power isn't her singing voice.
That's
Right.
just natural God-given talent.
Yeah, that's her God-given talent. So, and let's see if I shock you two. I would like Kitty Pryde's phasing power.
Ooh, yeah, okay. I like it. You could do a lot with that.
There's a lot to it because it includes like levitation. There's elements to it beyond just what she can do by going through things and making herself
Yeah.
immaterial.
And you
That's
can
cool.
kill people in a pretty wicked way too.
Really graphic, but yeah.
Yeah,
Do not mess with Ryan.
because I'm such a graphic person.
We know this about you.
Yeah.
What's up, Alan? Good to see you.
Alan. All right. Number 5 here. What's your John, we didn't prep him for this one. Unless he has something.
I think he
may
does.
not.
He watched last week. He said he went to
What-
go get something.
You could actually say it if you don't have it with you. What's one of your favorite X-Men covers in your collection?
Okay, I don't have it with me.
Sorry, Ryan. That's our bad. My bad.
Ooh. I hate this because my answer is the answer from last week. Okay, I'm gonna give the answer from last week, but I'm gonna think of my runner-up.
Okay.
It's X-Men 101.
Well,
So
okay.
John, you could show that on my behalf because it's right behind you.
That
There
one.
you go.
Yeah.
I just put mine away.
It's Birdie.
That's my favorite cover of
Yeah.
all time. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but there is an Avengers variant that does an homage to that with Ms. Marvel in the Black Lightning Bolt costume being the one who's busting through the water.
Oh,
I don't have that, but I want to get that for my collection. I do have a 101, and mine has a very sentimental story. Most of you know that I put the mental in sentimental, and has a sentimental story. If you want to hear me cry about it, I've already done that on YouTube. You can tune into the 1011 video and find that story. So
nice.
Yeah, always like Miss Marvel in the black uniform. And we got a
Yeah.
super chat from Michael. What's going on? So
Oh.
Collector.
Thanks, Michael.
Let me play you a little something here.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do I got? What's gonna be this one will be faster.
Having a
Love it.
me party
Love
Yeah.
for
it.
myself.
I like that he says he's chipping in for Lasso's.
Get him a background.
Yeah, nice.
I'm not
Very
giving
nice.
him that money.
Yeah. That's not going to Lasso. Sorry.
I did buy the Art Germ Disco Dazzler poster that was just released. We got a promo one for where I work at, but I bought the one to the public because the one to the public is rolled and it's bigger than the promo one. The promo one was folded and a little bit smaller. This is 24 by 36 goodness. I bought a frame for it. Now, if I could just get it in the frame and then on the wall, we're going to be set.
Nice.
That's for the Judgment Day cover that's coming out later this month. If you guys haven't seen that image, it's amazing.
All the Judgment Day stuff. I'm buying all.
Now
of
we're
it.
not going to let JP prove us right that these questions are going to run us ragged.
No, we got
2 more, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on one quick second. I have to give you my runner-up since that was a used answer. I'm going to go with X-Men 136.
Okay.
So I
went with 137.
That's the death, right?
That's
That's the issue before the death where Cyclops is holding Jean in the what's that called, John? The
pose.
Pieta
The
pose.
cover.
Yeah. Pieta. What's up, Ignacio?
That's the
In
one.
the chat.
That one.
I'm going to use that as my runner-up because
I keep volume 1 of Claremont basically right next to me at all times. So don't leave home without it.
It's a good move.
All right, so we have
all right.
2 more questions.
Yeah. Do you want to do yours, John?
Yeah, I can do mine. So I'm going to drop a link right now because those that don't know it, Ryan is a published author. The man has a great, I haven't read it yet, so I can't say, comic book out there, graphic novel that you can buy. And I'm dropping a link where you can find it on comicfleamarket.com.
Thank you.
It is it's a biography of Loretta Lynn.
Yeah.
And I'm just super proud of you, man. I'm just blown away.
I am unboxing my copy literally right now. He was waiting for me
nice.
when I came home.
So my question, as somebody who fancies himself as a writer who's never published anything, is for you, what is the hardest part of writing for you?
Competence was the hardest part. And I'm telling a real person's story, so I can't just go and do what I want to do.
Right.
I don't think that's fair. You need to tell the story as it is, not how you want it to be, because it works better in your book. And making sure that I was honest to her. The first page I ever wrote didn't sound like her at all. It sounded like me. And then I went, no, I have to make this. I have to bubble wrap pop. I have to make this sound like her. So what I did was I put little visions of myself in there. Like I knew Loretta Lynn from the Crisco commercials back in the 1980s. And at the end, she would say, "Crisco, do you proud ever, Tom?" So I made sure that there's a TV set with her voice coming out and it's saying, "Do you proud ever, Tom?"
Love it.
But I am.
For those of you interested in supporting Ryan, and it's on Amazon as well, but the comic flea market option, you get a lot of the different covers for the issue, and you can use that link right there.
Yeah, so I'd love to. Here's one of the hardcover versions. I have that nearby.
Nice.
I should blow you up a bit bigger. There you go.
So this is the hardcover version, and for those that are wondering, this book came out the day after Loretta passed away, and she did know about this project. It was always scheduled for release on October 5th because that's the first Wednesday, which comic books are released on Wednesday, the first Wednesday in October, which is Country Music Month. And that day was the anniversary of her signature song, Coal Miner's Daughter, being released.
Wow.
So that was always the release date. The fact that she passed away the day before was just a coincidence. But I started writing this book on her 90th birthday. That day is the day I wrote the first page. And then there's a week between her birthday and my birthday, and I finished it online.
Wow.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Inside these packs, I've finally got my own copies. But thanks to everyone who's shown some great support. Thanks, John, for plugging my book and letting me do a commercial on here.
Yeah.
Of course.
Heck yeah.
All right. And Justin, you've got one last question.
Yeah. So last question, Lasso. Who is your favorite current comic book writer? Who comes to mind as one of your favorites right now?
Being a DC fan and a Wonder Woman fan, I have watched her book being written very well and very creatively, and I've watched it not be. I watched it to the point where I went, if I didn't have a relationship with this character, I wouldn't buy this. But right now, I like the Becky Cloonan, Michael Conrad combination, who are writing Wonder Woman and Batgirls right now. And I like it because it's modern and fresh, but they do little throwbacks and homages to the past. And sometimes it's just a visual, or sometimes it's a character. But they even introduced a brand new character in their run who I've just fallen in love with. And
nice.
How often does a creator introduce a new character and you're on board from the beginning? So I'm going to go with Michael Conrad and Becky Cloonan.
Love it. Great choice. That's what we have for Rapid. So that was pretty good. Pretty good. Rapid. You made it through, Ryan. So appreciate you, man. Hope everybody learned a little bit extra from Magic Lasso. And like John said before, he dropped a link in the description or in the chat. So
I actually updated the description while we were live, so it's
perfect.
in the description.
Awesome, thanks.
John's on top of it.
I mean, ish. All right,
so
so
like, I got lucky.
We're already 16 minutes in. Let's jump over and start talking about issue 154. So I'm going to share this and let's see, slideshow it. There we go.
Nice.
So we last omnibus ended at 153. We talked last week a little bit about where our characters ended up, some of the separation that's gone on between the team, some of the things due to the Hellfire Club and what's been going on with them. But here we are diving back into some new solar system, outer space excitement here. And we've got this cover. Justin, what are your thoughts on this cover?
It's very busy. I think the main thing that I'm not crazy about with it is, and maybe this we'll get into more of this with the book in general, is these creatures, this alien, how stick figure-y they are, you know. I'm not crazy about, I don't know. I guess I wanted more detail. And I think there are certain panels that we do get a little more detail of them. But ultimately, I mean, so much of that crowds this cover that I'm not the biggest fan of it. I will say, you know, after like kind of taking a closer look at it, I do like that you see that our team kind of in peril here. So, you know, in regards to that would, I think, you know, get me hooked if I was walking by, you know, seeing it on the shelf for the first time. So, like I said, a little too loud for me, but yeah, I'll go with it. All right.
And what about you, Ryan? What are your thoughts on this one?
It is busy. I mean, I agree with that. It's interesting that to look at it digitally here, like the scan that you have up from the omnibus, which I believe has been recolored, because I have, you know, my original floppy that I bought earlier this year. My reds seem very muted on my cover compared to what I'm seeing on yours, and I prefer your bright colors better. What I do like is the cover represents the story. So what you see on the cover is what you get inside. And let's face it, we're right now in this portion of X-Men, we're seeing this, but soon we won't. And there's no Wolverine on the cover, except for, I mean, I'm not counting the little corner box, but you know, pretty soon Wolverine's going to be the selling point of every issue. So it's all right. It's all right to me. I mean,
it's a ways. We have a good ways, but I think we have a full other omnibus before that.
Before we get that,
But I think because we're in the heart of the Storm era in some ways. Like we're in the heart of really her becoming the star, which is funny because she's kind of placed behind the guys. And I don't know why the Starjammers get the front pose there. I just I don't get that guy. Yeah, for me, the color throws it off for me. Like, I think it was, Roy Kirk saying, why purple? Like, they're not purple in the book. So it's an odd color choice just for that, to like, because it's all black, like the t-shirts we're all wearing because we're on brand tonight. So it seemed like a funny choice. I always felt like the cover just felt like it had been colored wrong. And I guess it's to differentiate from Storm's costume that maybe it would blend too much because the black is pretty intense in the book. But yeah, the cover never really worked.
The only thing I could think of with it being purple is that it's supposed to kind of be a glow onto black with the lightning and all the blasts
Okay.
going on, kind of a you know, the light projecting onto them. It's the only, I don't know, kind of mesh. But otherwise, because you make a good point. They're black in the book, so
right.
That is weird. Otherwise,
did they ever give away that bike?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't get it.
Yeah, I didn't get it either.
I always want to know who did,
Yeah.
but I don't think we ever found out.
We'll have him on the show once we find out.
It would be more exciting than Claremont is the guy who won the 10-speed racer.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get inside here. We've got Storm and Cyclops playing handball in the danger room.
Yep.
I was very entertained. There's several reasons I'm excited by this. Firstly, Cyclops' butt is like right there.
Yeah, booty shot.
We get the full no girl booty shot. We get the guy booty shot.
Yep.
And they're getting into this full hand. I love how like this is hilarious to me that this is where we jump back into these guys and gals. The fact that they're playing sports in the danger room, and you get to see two leaders, I guess, relaxing, but certainly cutting loose a little bit. What were your thoughts here on jumping in here? I'll go with Ryan first. Like, we're back with the team, and this is what they're doing.
You know, it's actually a great beginning to the Omni, I think, because it feels like we're at the very beginning of a new chapter. I mean, on my physical copy, so I bought this copy earlier this year and saved it until Omni X-Men was going to review this. And I didn't take it out of the bag and board until last night when I read the issue. First time I ever have read this issue. So I instantly was struck on my copy. What does that say there on the bottom?
Wait, hold on, let me get
snap.
The Paul Young collection.
Oh, what?
So I have a Paul Young pedigree.
Wow.
Wherever he is.
I was saying, it sounds like a clothing line, you know, like a clothing.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude is serious. He had a stamp.
He had a stamp, right?
All right, John, we're getting a stamp. We're getting an omnibus.
Does that damage your book if I start just stamping things?
It goes up in price. It goes up in price. Yeah.
I say if the librarian can do it, you can do it.
There you go.
But no,
Chris in the chat. What's up, Chris?
It's an interesting start. I like seeing the dynamic between the two. You don't see a lot of these two spending time, although it does feel a little fillerish to me in the beginning because it does last on a little long.
Does it feel fillery, or does it feel like setup for a romance?
Now, see, I heard you hint about this, and I heard this before I started reading this issue. So I was looking for this romance, and only in one part did I see a little flirtation from my reading perspective.
Okay.
And that's when Cyclops says, "Let's hit the showers," because that implies that they're going together.
I'm saying there's a lot of like sweaty, competitive stuff here. That's like sparks where there could be some fire. Maybe Justin, did you get any of these?
He says yes. What do you say, Justin?
What are your vibes here on this?
Yeah, this is you could call it the beach scene from Maverick from Top Gun.
The volleyball. This is volleyball.
You just picture the background, that music. Come on. So no, I didn't really get the romantic vibes that you had pointed out, John. But I do find it interesting, kind of rereading it and looking back, and considering that. First of all, I love that this is the opening. I mean, this is what I like the X-Men for the most is the casualness of it, that they're not just there saving the world every 24/7, you know, it's other things. And we have seen scenes, they even reference this with Wolverine and Nightcrawler, which I also mentioned how much I love that too in previous issues. So just seeing them, because this makes sense, right? They're going to be training at some point, they're going to be practicing and honing in their skills, and also other things too, like struggling with like, and I know we get more into it, but like the way I saw this was the leadership aspect of it. The two of them kind of butting heads in that regard. And, you know, Storm even mentioned, Cyclops mentioned that they're, what do you call her? What was the word? They're equal, they're rivals. I know she questioned that later on, but like, and to your point, Ryan, you said that maybe some of it's a little too fillery. I think that, or that because they extended it a little bit more. I do see how it definitely could come off as extended, but I think it's still important to the bigger part of the story of the leadership aspect that comes later in the book that I know we'll touch more on. But just between the two and just both of them understanding each other, knowing what they had to do in this book in order to, quote unquote, save the day. And so I think that a lot of that stems, starts here, like kind of the base of that. So
well said.
But I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this stuff. Yeah.
And it looks like Chet's agreeing. He says, leaders having fun, nothing more. Those that can't do Spanish. Candace says, I didn't get romantic vibes, but I like seeing them having a fun setting, seeing what they can do in their off hours. And I do think that's something that X-Men has always done really well. The idea that this is more like a family, more like time spent together, not work. And so you get to see them playing softball or at the pool or what have you, picnics, these kinds of things. I think are very humanizing.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm going to go on the record and say that I am a Cyclops fan. I know that's a very unpopular opinion in most of this.
I was going to say in the chat, maybe, but not here on this panel. You are.
I am a Cyclops fan, and I have been since I was a little Lasso collector. And the one thing I'm going on this record, and I'm not scared of the hate mail I will get from it.
From
JP.
You will get
some.
You will from JP.
And I'm going on the record right now as saying this. Scott Summers has game.
I mean, he gets some of the hottest ladies, and they're all telepaths. They can read him to a core, and they're all just willing to say, I like what I see.
It's the shades. It's the shades.
There it is. Fable's on your side, too. What's up, Fable?
Station Fable.
We're not going to blame you for that at all.
No.
So yeah, the game continues. You get to see them like vying for that one last point, going back and forth. You think Storm's going to win. Cyclops plays her a little bit with some cool laser light moves, and then tie game. And they decide to like call it quits, leave it at a tie, even though Storm was definitely winning. I'm just going to point that out. Justin, any thoughts on how this ends out?
No, just like I said, more about the leadership side of it is kind of how I viewed this, and I think it builds up well to what we get next.
Any other thoughts, Ryan? Should we move on here?
Yeah, we can move on. I mean, I enjoyed seeing the interaction between the two.
Yeah,
sure. So then outer space. Now we're in outer space. And we jump to flying through outer space is Cyclops' dad. He's journeying through space. We haven't seen the Starjammer crew here in quite a while. And we don't know what he's been up to, but he seems to be being pursued by some Shi'ar ships and in some sort of peril. Even though we know him to be something of a scuzzy guy in some ways, we don't know all the story. We've gotten pieces of it up to now, but here he is flying through. What are your thoughts on this character, Justin? I know we haven't seen a ton of him. Have you read much beyond what we've read so far?
No. Just what we've read for this. So I just know the gist of the backstory that he, or not, I don't even know the details, but just that he is, Cyclops and Havoc's father. So yeah, just kind of curious because we don't even get really the reasons as to why yet until a couple pages later. But just seeing that he's scrambling going to Earth, and he's trying to he has a little picture of the team up there saying that he wishes it was under better circumstances. But the one thing I wanted to note here too was I remember first seeing this ship and like kind of laughing, saying like, look, this is like a corny, looks like a chicken or something. Like I didn't, but as I look closer and took time to like really look at the detail, I actually really like the ship and I like the detail of it. And it reminds me of like that, as I now look at like the eye that's drawn on the side, it's like an Aztec ancient, or Mayan drawing or something like that. And I like how they took that and kind of made this as a futuristic aspect or
nice
theme, so anyways, I just wanted to point that out. I initially wasn't a fan, but as I took time to really look at it, I actually think it's pretty cool.
And Michael says Scorsese is scuzzy. Where do you think Scott learned his game from? Shots fired. Justin, JP's now coming to the chat. And he's not happy. He's as predicted.
JP, what will make you feel really much better than you're feeling right now is heading over to comicfleamarket.com and ordering yourself a Loretta Lynn comic book.
There you go.
That will make you feel really good.
The link is in the chat. Does it look like a chicken? Like, what bird would you pick? Because I got Phoenix vibes. I'm not gonna lie. I got some Phoenix
That's
vibes.
fair.
Ryan,
Looks like an ostrich to me.
okay, so there you go.
So looking at this, first of all, as a young X-Men reader, some of these issues are ones that I didn't even start getting or reading until in the last couple years. But I'm talking, I bought X-Men as a little kid. And I think I always knew Corsair as Cyclops' father. So the dynamics of them not knowing wasn't, I don't know, it's something that I was always used to them knowing. The only thing that interests me in this page that I thought was a little telling, you know, he talks of his son on Earth, but makes no mention of his other son on Earth. You know, you have two.
Clearly a favorite. Yeah.
We know who the favorite is.
Yes. Good point.
Yeah, that is definitely something that gets a little overlooked. Kind of like when Alfred died and they didn't mention he had a daughter at the funeral, and like nobody knew where she was.
Yeah,
that's kind of awkward.
So says it looks like the moaning rubber chickens. Yeah, it does.
And for those that don't know, there's a really solid Greg Rucka run where you see Cyclops go off with the Starjammers and be a space pirate with his dad. It's just called Cyclops. My daughter Kate loves it. She really, I mean, she likes Cyclops, so she's a fan. But if you want to see Cyclops and the Starjammers as like a comic, it's just called Cyclops, and Greg Rucka wrote it, and it's very entertaining.
Sounds like a band, Cyclops and the Starjammers.
I mean, it's solid. Meanwhile, we've got the rest of the X-Men team are on an island that Magneto basically made, but then abandoned when they kicked his butt. And now they're kind of living there along with Carol Danvers and Ilyana, little cute little Ilyana Rasputin, running along there. And they're basically stockpiling and building a new home away from home because Xavier's concerned that the mansion might not be safe, that they've had some issues with safety at the mansion. Carol Danvers, meanwhile, dealing with the issues from losing her powers and the whole Rogue and Mystique thing that is those characters' origins or first appearances. And Wolverine tries to make her feel better by smoking directly next to her.
Well, she's smoking, so he might as well be smoking.
She's smoking hot.
Okay.
It's different. That's totally different.
His is more on the cancerous side of things.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. I think that's offensive to Tom Selleck, Candace, I think, but I get where you're going with it. So Ryan, what are your thoughts on this? I know you're a Carol Danvers fan like me. We love the Ms. Marvel era of Carol. So this is kind of a fun continuation of her comic that got cut so short. The Claremont run of that comic that got cut
Claremont
short.
wrote the Ms. Marvel as well.
Yeah,
So
as a matter of fact, Rogue and Mystique are Claremont characters.
Yeah, there was 1.5 issues completed of Ms. Marvel when she got canceled that didn't see the light of day until decades later. So
when this guy's dad published comics and they threw those in as addendums to those comics.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Yeah,
good point.
I think, kind of chilling on this abandoned island. I mean, what do you do when you're done there? I mean, where do you get your supplies outside of the never-ending sandwich bag or whatever in the jet? I mean, that's interesting. And if the mansion's so unsafe, why are they leaving Cyclops and Storm there, even though they are powerful mutants?
That's what I questioned too. I was wondering why they were still back there.
Yeah. The deal with Carol, enjoyed that. Obviously, Claremont loves this character, like I do too. What I thought was the best part is that panel where you see her fists up in the air and she's frustrated because Wolverine is referencing something that she can't remember. She has no memory of this because Rogue has absorbed that from her. And Professor X has been working with her trying to get stuff back, but there's stuff she hasn't gotten back. And that's one of them. And you see the frustration. And I enjoyed this part. I actually wish that Carol was more a part of the X-Men than she ends up being.
I agree. And those are some of my favorite Carol Danvers plot lines, the binary and such that we're going to get later. That was the issue where he was drawing Ghost Rider. I know Michael's ready for some more of that discussion.
That's right.
Claiming Comics. What is up, Jason? Good to see you, sir. Any last thoughts here? Should we keep rolling through the meanwhiles?
I just want to add that. Well, first the top left panel right near your head, John. As we get this idea that they're in this secret place or whatever, I just immediately thought, or this new, Magneto's old lair. I just immediately thought of Krakoa just because I'm reading the new stuff. So I'm like, oh, like that could be like the party city right there.
Right.
And then I love Ilana Rasputin chilling there. Yeah,
She's so cute.
Yeah, and then the whole thing with Professor X reading people's minds again without their permission, like not cool. Like
Not
if I was
cool.
Nightcrawler, yeah, I'd be like, come on. Other than that, I do like that they tie all this other stuff in. I like that they still address Danvers, they still address her memory, her frustration of not, remembering all this stuff. A little bit of a hint of a flashback from her history with Wolverine that they kind of, and then the other thing I laughed at was when Kitty Pryde comes in and Wolverine basically yells at her.
Yeah, she cock-blocked him.
And yeah, right. And it's just funny because I just think back to the other scenes where like she's always going through walls at the wrong time. Like when she broke the machine going to talk to Professor X and he got like really mad at her then too. Like, so it just shows, she's still a kid, she's still learning, and things like that happen. But so I kind of laughed at that too.
And piggybacking off of what Justin said, sorry to cut you off, John.
I was just going to mention that no, we have not seen Madeline Pryor yet.
No.
But piggybacking what Justin said about Professor X, mind reading, he justifies it, but he's the first to tell these people when they've done something wrong, but doesn't take responsibility. That's why I say Professor X is such a jerk.
Way worse than Cyclops. Way worse. Mostly because he's an adult and the boss in charge setting the example. And that's what makes it worse. All right, let's jump back to meanwhile, again, we're still in outer space and getting chased, and he feels like he escaped, but then realizes, nope, they're firing missiles and stuff at me. I better make my way to my son so that he can solve my problems for me. And Cyclops is in the middle of like making lunch for this beautiful lady, and we're gonna eat and open the mail and
with the mail.
Look at some bills. I don't know how you open mail when you're sitting across from Storm and like she's right there, dude. What are you doing reading mail right now? Thankfully, they are interrupted by a crashing spaceship. It lands in the lake. They swim down together. They somehow in that giant spaceship find the pilot, rescue, swim him up, and they get safely to the shore. Any thoughts on this romantic interlude? Justin?
I like there's a lot of story in these like few pages, just everything we've even gone over so far. But I think they do a pretty fair job of it. It doesn't feel too crammed, but yes, there's like a lot going on, but it all makes sense as we continue to move forward on this. I do like that we continue to see a little bit of just hanging out casualness with Cyclops and Storm in the kitchen. I like that she had read the letter. We got a little bit about Stevie what's her name, Stevie Hunter, the choreographer, and just keeping all those storylines and characters kind of relevant. And then getting the little glimpse of Corsair flying in here.
Right.
We get a little action. Those panels down on the bottom right are pretty cool.
Fun art there going on.
Explosions and especially splashes. The way it's kind of laid out. Yeah. And I think there was even like moments. Is it? Oh yeah. So this is where she's starting to struggle already. She brings up her breaking her oath of revealing the truth about this character and all this.
Once she sees who it is, Storm is one of the few characters who knows, due to the psychic link she had with Jean last time this came up, she knows that this is Cyclops' dad. Even though Cyclops, he don't know.
No.
What's up, Kenneth Bird? Any thoughts here, Ryan, that you wanted to mention?
Exactly what the Jackson Roy Kirk just said. So they're reading a postcard from Kitty Pryde. Now, where did she mail that from?
There's a Magneto built a post office, I'm sure.
Yes.
That was the only thing that kind of took me out of the moment. I enjoyed it that in the right hand side upper panel with them seeing the ship come through. I think that panel is just magnificent. I love that panel. Everything about that is awesome to me.
Yeah, the intensity of it's pretty amazing.
Phoenix like.
Right. And Justin, you can't you can't revoke. Sorry, JP, you can't revoke something that I chartered. Like it just doesn't work. Doesn't work. Get out of here. So let's continue on. They now get a memory. We spend a few panels realizing who this guy is. Let's give you the full backstory. What happened to his wife? What happened to his kids? What are the choices he made? And then he can try to talk to you. Nope. Sorry. Interruption. Giant spider robot coming through the window. Let's fight the spider robot. There's a lot going on in these 2 pages.
Oh,
Any thoughts here, Ryan, on how they try to pack in a little, who's this Corsair guy?
Well, it kind of goes back to what I was talking about before. The beginning of the book to me seemed a little drawn out, and then this part seems a little rushed. So they have all the elements in place, but maybe just smooth it through a little bit more just for the reader's sake. But that's how comics were at that time too. You have to have the flashbacks.
Yep.
There was no internet to go reference. If you didn't have the issue, you didn't know.
You had no clue. Yeah. And let's be honest, the truth is this backstory of Cyclops has been kind of scattered over a lot of issues. This is the first time we've kind of seen Corsair's story told kind of cohesively, all in one space with these 5 whatever panels above him there. And I do think the layout is really interesting, and the way the colors have been done is kind of, I don't know, what do you think, Justin?
Yeah, so I had to kind of read this twice through because at first I meshed all the memories into like one moment, and then realized after that it's 2 different memories technically. So those first, like the top 2 and the one on the left are one, and then that's when the time changes, or it mentions more recent memory being the second one, and it shows the team, his Starjammer team. That's the second one. So you have, keeping all that in mind, I do like that we do get a little background of how Scott got split up, him and his brother, as the mother kind of saves. I do wish, as Ryan said, it was a little more drawn out or a little smoothed over, because there is opportunity here, and I'm sure they elaborate in other books, but there is an opportunity here to have this really emotional moment about Scott's mom specifically,
right?
And again, stuff I don't know, I'm not familiar. A plane crash and all that stuff is new to me, so it was cool to get a little glimpse of this. And then, and then the as you call it, like a spider crashing through the thing. I think it was Chet that said much earlier in the chat, just that he called it lazy art, and the word lazy, like I hate to, like it did come to mind because it just seems so flat, like it's like I said in the beginning, like stick figure like. So and I know obviously they're much more capable of more detail, as we see detail and everything else we see, but the villain in this, not the biggest fan of the villain, but but anyways, that's
I'm with you. Aggressively relaxing. Panther and Storm. Yeah, I don't like the name Porm. I think you got to go back to the drawing table on that.
Yeah.
So after this quick flashback, we jump right into we got to fight these things. We got to get to fighting. So they're throwing wind and weather. They're blasting these things. They're shooting the lasers at these things. It's all just excitement and running. And what are we going to do? And then finally, Storm says, "You know what? I got to take the hit for the team here. Let me draw the monsters away, keep them away from the innocents. You guys get to the Blackbird, get out of here, and I'll catch up." Cyclops, to his credit, says, "Good executive decision. I'm with you. Let's go," and has to convince his dad. For me, this is the payoff to the slow opening, right? Yeah. They now have a shorthand that we are established. And when she makes this call, he sees the logic to it and dives right in. Did you read it that way, Justin? Yeah.
So this is totally a big part of the leadership aspect, and both of them being on the same page, very equal in understanding what has to be done. I actually, well, I know we'll get to, I won't go any further than where we're at, but ultimately this is, I like that there's a lot of, ruckus going on. Is this what the part 2 where he asks if anybody has a nuclear bomb or something like that. No, I think that's like maybe
That's a little later.
a little. Okay,
When they discuss what can harm these things.
Okay. I do like the different panels, like Storm doing her thing. The wind that's like throwing like a piano and all that stuff. I was looking closely. A couch is in there, a door and a chair, like all these different aspects. So
everything
cool
but the
artwork
kitchen
there.
sink.
Right. So yeah, but definitely the leadership moments are here as you pointed out, for sure.
Sorry, where was it? Four-way flashers. Scott Summers deserves no emotional moments. Shots fired. Yes, I gave Scott some credit for knowing when he's in the company of a better leader who's making better choices. Yeah. Ryan, any thoughts here on this moment between Storm and Cyclops and the big choices that they're making right here?
This actually, like Justin said, is kind of a payoff to an earlier moment that we really didn't talk much about. But when they're having their workout / training, at one point, Storm point blank asked Cyclops, "Do you want to be leader of the X-Men again?"
Yeah, you're right.
And that
yes.
And he kind of answers, "I don't know." Mm-hmm. And then they kind of talk about the differences between his leadership and her leadership. And then this is her being the leader and making the right decision. And even there's another beat to this aspect that they'll cover a little bit later on why Storm is staying behind. And it was like a 3-beat thing. And that was written so perfectly, I thought, to me, to put those 3 beats in 3 different parts of the stories. There's one in the beginning, one in the middle, and one in the end.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And that's for me, it's the highlight of the story here in this issue.
Yeah.
So let's get to that beat, because now we have them, Scott and Corsair, running down. They're going to get to the cool monorail they've got under this mansion. They're going to jump in. And my favorite part of this, this is where I'm going to rip into Corsair.
Yes.
The guy who took his 2 kids, strapped them to a parachute, and threw them out of a plane, is questioning his son and the woman with superpowers and their choices. The heck? Anybody feel like there's a little hypocrisy to his judgment here?
Totally, especially when we go further and learn how reckless he is in general. Yeah.
I mean, the guy threw his 2 sons out with 1 parachute and then flew off with his wife and never came back. He's had decades to come back. Has not come back.
Hasn't even asked about the other son in this issue.
Right?
No, it's not wrong.
But when Storm, a goddess with amazing power, says, "I'll cover you," he's going to scream at his kid and make him punch him. I was like, what?
I had laughed at the punch itself. I wasn't quite expecting the actual punch. I'm like, oh man, he not only yelled at him, but he smacked him back.
I love these comments. You guys in the chat are on it. I mean, yeah, I needed the hypocrisy here at the bottom there, just to be like, it's gonna break.
At least he didn't call her frail.
That's a Wolverine move, right?
Yeah.
He threw Alex out with a parachute. Scott just kind of tagged along. I mean, he hung on. Somebody had to hang on. So Storm, of course, goes full out.
Are you getting echo? I'm getting a little
echo from
feedback.
From Ryan. I don't know if it's
Ryan, could see if I think it's coming from yours. You're not using headphones, right?
Nope. How about now? I'll mute.
There you go.
Okay.
Storm makes this epic avalanche or this epic slide of snow to try to trap these things, try to cool them down, even though we've heard that cold may not be the best way, that heat might need to be the best way, but it doesn't matter. Blackbird is taken off. They're launching. They're flying over, looking down at the mansion that's been destroyed. Xavier prophecy proving correct. Maybe the mansion not so safe. Huge destruction there. And he's sort of looking down with shock and seeing all the little spider creatures taking off after him.
Right when you didn't think it could get any worse with what happened with Kitty Pryde in 143, nearly destroying the place.
Right.
And yet here we are with a bunch of spiders.
Justin, any thoughts here on how this is turning out for Scott and Storm?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you covered it. Really just again, more on the shocker of the punch to the
Right.
dad. And but yeah, Storm coming through, doing her thing. Both of them understanding what they have to do to get things done. And yeah, I know, yeah, that's really it for this moment.
And Ryan, any thoughts from you on how Storm finished, or at least tried to finish them off?
I thought, I love the fact the throwback to 143, with them going down the tunnel. It was enjoyable. It goes to show that Storm is a smart leader,
I agree. All right, so then they fly off, and this is where Justin got really excited about this issue. He's like, Top Gun, man! They're flying. There's like dog fighting. They're shooting lasers at each other. There's explosions. There's even an air traffic control guy talking about what's going on. Cyclops is just fully in Top Gun mode. Justin, did you hear Top Gun music when you read this?
Oh, the whole time. Yeah, I'm like, they stole this scene from Top Gun. This is this is again though, kind of like, I had mixed feelings about this villain, like the aliens. I don't know. I get like what they can do. It's they can come to be together, and that part I guess is cool. I guess it's just more of how they're drawn. I think it's the art that I'm not crazy about.
Yeah, because all the little spiders become a big spider,
right?
With wings like manta.
It looks like a manta. Yeah.
Justin's enthusiasm. He went from I see Top Gun to
Danger Zone.
This scene.
Yeah.
So kind of Ryan, any thoughts on the dog fighting we're getting now?
Yeah, very movie-ish, very cinematic, which was the time from back then. That was the era from the comic books. They're cramming a lot of stuff here into this issue, so it's not all bad. I'm not saying that. It's a lot.
Right, absolutely.
Yep.
So then we go to the next page, and I'm like, how did Storm get in the plane? What did you come from? Weren't you flying through the tunnel? I constantly had this like, she's in the Blackbird now? Where did you? They didn't even show her jumping into the plane. I don't understand. And we're cutting to this couple at the restaurant.
As I say,
and I had to blow them up big and talk a little bit about they're like, oh, flying by. Oh, there they are.
It's at that moment, John, that's when Storm jumped into the plane. So,
right. That's when I just missed it. I was looking at the couple eating, and I didn't notice that Storm's back. Did anybody else wonder like how she got into the plane? Am I the only one that had that moment?
I hadn't thought of it till now, but you make a great point.
Yeah.
We see her go down the tunnel. We see dog fighting, and then she's standing right behind Scott. There's no moment where she gets into the plane.
John, can you give access to the couple and read this line here?
Okay. She says, Neville, that's an aeroplane. So it is, my dear.
That's exactly how I read that.
Now, there is a hidden panel, in the super deluxe version where the next panel, these two say, the gentleman says, pardon me, do you have any gray poupon?
Saw that joke coming, and I liked it the whole way. I was there for it the whole way. Yes, JP, he blasts through the cockpit window at them. They talk a little bit about like the chance to field test an experimental windshield. And yes, he blasted. The beam hits the canopy itself, composed of synthesis of plastic glass and ruby quartz, specially polarized elements that focus and amplify his energy. So boom, in your face. It looks like we had Forge making things for the X-Men before we had Forge as an X-Men. Boom.
I want to point out this little bit in the middle too, where Corsair calls him son, and Cyclops is just not having it. He's like,
"Don't do that."
Yeah, do not start with me, old man.
Yeah, it's a great response, right?
Yeah, I just like that they continued to bring this up, which it should be, is it's on his mind. He even earlier, I think he described that his feelings. He had mixed feelings of being happy, angry. And I think numb was the other description, but just that, happy that like, wow, like my dad is alive, and always thought he wasn't, but also obviously angry because he was absent all these years. So very mixed feelings there.
So it gets better, Jackson Roy Kirk, because we cut to Storm jumping into the plane, but then she says, we got to figure out a solution to this. Next panel is she's out of the plane now. She's back outside. She's not even in the, I can't.
Is Nightcrawler around?
I feel like this is a moment where they're like, God, I wish we had Jean Grey. She could like telepathically communicate between everybody. We don't have that in the budget, but we're just going to like cut in and cut her out. And she's talking to them. She's not talking to them. That bugged the lights out of me, but I'm cool with the rest of this because Storm now basically makes a cyclone in the middle of New York to stop this thing. And it's got lightning and she's rescuing civilians who are crashing in a helicopter because I guess they're not civilians, they're cops who are coming to investigate a cyclone and a giant flying creature. And they get in trouble, predictably. Storm has to rescue them and control the weather around all of these things and save the day. What's Cyclops doing again in this issue? I don't know. Any thoughts here, Justin, on what's going on?
Yeah, I like the Storm scenes here. Showing the all the electric and everything going on, kind of the way it's drawn out there, hitting this alien creature, as we've learned that it's a bunch of the little spiders come together. Just some cool action scenes for sure.
Ryan, what about you?
So two things struck me. One, that first of all, Storm does a lot of talking here when she really has no one to talk to in this panel, which is interesting. But what I really like is when she's contemplating making this huge weather change, she says the effects of this could last for weeks or months. So you really get the scope and the nature of how big that this is going to be. And that's something they don't always talk about too, the ramifications of her using her powers. And, it doesn't necessarily always end the second she's done. So that was interesting.
And aggressively relaxing with the comment of the night. Yeah, the weatherman in New York City with Storm working around that area that's not an easy job. That's a rough gig, man.
Poor Willard Scott.
that ain't for the birds, man. That's tough. After this, she figures out a way to like break this giant beast apart a little bit. Then they fly the Blackbird right through it and blast it and separate it into little pieces that land on the ground. And thankfully they land in the middle of like a petroleum storage facility. Boy, you really couldn't call that, could you? I mean, that's just perfect. That's just working well. And then they're like, hey, what do we do now? And of course, Corsair is like, let's just blow them up, man. Let's just blow this whole thing to Kingdom Come. And everybody's like, wait, aren't people working there? Aren't there like, technicians? Aren't there people doing jobs there? And he's like, yeah, quiet down. I'm in charge. And he blasts it. The whole thing just blows up. No questions. We done. We killed them all. Now let's be successful. Justin?
Yeah,
how'd that work out for you?
Yeah, this is where, and I missed where the scene was where he does at first recommend, because she asks like, what is the weakness of these things, and he says it's like fire or hot temperatures, and he's like, does anybody have like a bomb lying around or whatever? And she was like concerned. She's like, man, like I wonder what kind of man he is to be like really asking that type of question, and is he loose enough to just like throw something out there like that and be willing to kill at all costs. But he does swear that these things are that dangerous. He's like, I've seen these before. So then in the kind of the middle panels, we even get Cyclops where he's like, he's like, kill it. What do you mean it? Like it's alive? He's like, I thought it was like a construct. And he explains to him that it's a living sentient. And just seeing this portion of it. And then now knowing again, kind of like, how he contradicts himself because he was so concerned about, Cyclops leaving Storm, and yet now he's okay, even though there's going to be expendables. He's okay to just fire away at this thing and blow up whatever it takes with him. So it's like, again, the hypocrisy kind of going back and forth with what he cares about and what he doesn't. So, reckless. Really cool panel though. That the whoosh and all that stuff.
No, the explosion and It reminds me of, and I don't know if Ryan, if this happened to you, it reminds me of the discussion in the original Clerks movie when they're like, how do you feel about all the construction workers who are just trying to earn a paycheck building the new Death Star who get blown up. Now we got all the factory workers just getting blown up, right?
Yeah. Yeah. When reading this, like I said, first time in my life I read this book was last night, and I read, an original copy. And this is why, see those two panels with Storm there on the right-hand side? This caused me to go, oh no, when I was reading this. And you want to know why? This is why you should be so glad this is the Omni X-Men show. Because look at, let me find it.
Blow it
Look
up
at
here.
Storm in the original book.
Oh yeah.
The color she's
green?
green.
Yeah, green face. Yeah.
And even look at the Corsair. That's not red at all, his shirt,
Yeah. Yep.
That's why the colorists have done. I mean, now look at it,
Right.
Yeah.
But I looked at that, and I have another book too where Storm, like the coloring process, it's a green face, and I'm like, oh no, she's been Kermitized.
She's got the whole condition.
Yeah.
Oh man. So okay, we blew them all up, and now we can talk about the problems we made. And nope, now he's going to tell you all why we blew them up. We're going to go backstory. Let me explain. By the way, 10 standard days ago, I was with the Shi'ar, and we were dealing with some stuff, and the Lilandra girl was kidnapped, and there was some stuff going down, and they blamed me for it. So I came here to make this your problem. And that's basically the backstory that he's got going right now. I didn't know how to solve my own stuff, so my son is going to do it for me. Right? Justin, any thoughts? How you feeling about that?
Yeah, so I was a little unclear with how this ended, because if Lilandra's captured and her team is willing to do whatever it takes to get her back, and he's saying that did they already pass Earth, and her team is just going to basically blow through Earth, and that's what he's concerned about? Or, I didn't understand the order of things there, because what does Earth have to do with it, really? Or did they bring Lilandra to Earth, and so then her own people are going to go to Earth to save her, but they're going to destroy everything, in order to get her? I didn't.
Are you trying to say that this plot feels flimsy to you?
This part, it was a little loose. Yeah, a little loose. It just, yeah. I mean, it's very condensed. Four panels essentially, right?
Yeah, this is ultimately the plot for the entire issue here. In these final 4 panels, we finally get to it.
Right.
Ryan, did you feel like it was worth the payoff here? You got it at the end?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I kind of thought, well, the connection to Earth is Charles Xavier's on Earth. They know that there's a connection between Lilandra and Charles, so that would be the natural place. I guess, I don't know.
He kidnapped her before, in a sense, and she lived with him, right?
Yeah, but let me say that Lilandra's hair is on point. Literally.
Always.
Once again, and I love how either her boots or her leggings really complement her hair.
I mean, she's got the figure for those boots, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, those it's like tattoos, tribal
right.
tattoos. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this. It says Lilandra was kidnapped. My Starjammers and I were implicit in the trail left by the terrorists, led straight to Earth. So the trail led straight to Earth. The fast battle force led by the Chancellor and the Admiral set out immediately to rescue her. Lead elements of the force have already arrived in local Earth space. So it's like Lilandra's people are coming to Earth space thinking she's there, but right? I guess maybe that's it. That's just it. And maybe we don't know where she is. So I guess maybe I'm wondering if did those creatures that captured her, did they come through Earth already and leave? Are they still in that area?
So you're saying, is it a real, did they bring her to Earth? Is it a false trail just to implicate the Corsair and the X-Men?
Yeah, I guess. Because I don't. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. And also, so he's coming to the X-Men for help, essentially, right? He's just coming to the team to help with this. But did it just work out that they happened to leave a trail leading to Earth that he's like, oh, while I head that way, I'll stop and talk to my son while was it just that convenient that they happened to lead towards Earth? Or I don't know, maybe we'll find out more. I get that it's going to open up in the next issue or several issues, I'm sure. But
obviously, yeah, this is for those that don't know, there's a ton in this omnibus when it comes to the X-Men and outer space. This is just like issue 1 of really the majority of this omnibus having to do with aliens, outer space travel, and interstellar relations to other communities. And I don't know, obviously, Justin, that's most of that's pretty new to you because we haven't really had much of that up to now. But Ryan, does that strike any memory for you?
Yeah, what it strikes, I hate saying this because I don't think that this is accurate now, but for me as a little kid collector, this is when I stopped buying X-Men. As a little kid, I still wanted them to be how, in the 10 to 15 issues earlier when I first was introduced to them. And this is really beginning a new gear. And I stopped collecting, which is why I'm just reading these stories now in this era pretty much for the first time. I came back, I think, on 169, which seemed like to be another change away from that.
Right.
But I'm so intrigued because I don't think I've read the next issue. I haven't. I don't think I've read it yet, but it's Deathbird, and she is a Ms. Marvel villain.
And it's the first appearance of the Brood, which, is an ongoing species.
I have read the Brood storyline now, and I thought that was really good. And I realized that I've missed out on some really good stuff in this period just from a childhood perspective that I kept as an adult. That wasn't right. These are pretty good. These are really good, actually.
Hey, so. Here's a Jackson Roy Kirk with a Magic Lasso worthy joke. He's saying, "Are you still brooding over the change of storytelling?"
I am.
But yeah, and I read this absolutely the way you intended, Krista, as mutants in space. Amazing. But I do hear the 90s mutant theme song, yeah, there's definitely some jams going on.
I always hear Storm, the voice actress who voiced Storm. I hear her in my head, especially if she goes, Wolverine.
I love it. All right, well, let's.
Sorry. One thing that I want to say real quick too, before you jump into these facts.
Yeah. One
thing that I don't think your omnibus has that I do is a letter column.
Yes, indeed. This one actually does include a letter column. This issue does. Go ahead.
So there's a letter I actually want to read. Now remember that these letters were from previous issues because it took a few months.
And not all of the issues include the letters in the omnibus, but this one does have it in the Omni.
So this is a letter from David Christopher from Glentora, California. Hello to David if you're watching tonight. It says Chris, Dave, and Joseph. Then in all capital letters, it says Kitty's new outfit must go. I hate it, hate. Rend, tear, dismember, loathing, disgust, revulsion. Then outside of capital letters, it says get the picture.
And just in case you thought trolls only exist on the internet today, there's your evidence.
Yeah.
Always. It's a human condition.
And of course, in the Marvel way, the next letter they print was one that praised Kitty's new costume.
Right?
Because they put both sides of the coin always.
It's great. It's really great.
And Krista agrees with you, 169. Way better entry point and storyline. So she's with you on that one. What was Kitty's little dragon name? I don't remember.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that was something,
wasn't it?
Lockheed is the dragon's name. Sorry, her little dragon's name. I get it now. So yeah, Lockheed is the dragon.
Yeah. And also, didn't it say that on the side of their new jet as well? Kitty's dragon. Sorry, that's what it said. It's in one of the in this issue.
I
wanted to point that out as well.
Side of the Blackbird. That's what it says?
During a close up right after he smacks Corsair.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Yes,
I thought that
it
was
does
cool.
say Kitty's Dragon on the
Which
side. That's awesome.
Ties back to, what is it, 151 or 153 when she's doing the, as we just broke that down, I think with Fable towards the end of last season. So if anybody hasn't read that one, it ends up being a pretty fun fairy tale kind of story. But
this guy, I don't even know why he's here.
But
here are the facts. This is
not
not a super key issue. Carol Danvers is playing a part in this. Her main plot was sort of robbed from Ms. Marvel, that being cut short. And so instead you get some of her backstory being added in for the issues that she had with Mystique and Rogue, even though that never actually appeared in comic form at this point. Instead, it just sort of references the end of Ms. Marvel and the Avengers Annual 10. Mm-hmm. There's a retelling of the Summers family origin, and we get Ileana Rasputin, who we've only seen really in a couple of issues in a bedtime story issue that we sort of finished the last omnibus with, and some issues involving like early Colossus appearances. But this is definitely another, like Giant Size X-Men, her first appearance. And so here we are continuing some of that. Super cheap book, not a key. So as a result, not sought after, a 9.8 fair market value of $75. Go out and get you one. You want a 9.8 X-Men Claremont era. This might be the one.
See, this is one of the books I would just prefer raw.
Right.
and I mean, just be the story, to be able to read the story, and to really, flip through and maybe find a nicer copy that didn't have some of the ink issues that Ryan had been dealing with. But, and that is on my list because I don't think I own this one, and I've extended my goal now. So I'm trying to collect them all.
We've got him. We got him.
I think I'm something like 3 or 4 issues away from having like a consecutive 120 issue run of X-Men.
Oh, nice.
So I'm pretty close on that.
Well done.
Yeah.
There you go. It is the first appearance of David Niven and Madeir.
Neville.
I don't know if that's a fact, but it definitely feels true. It has truthiness. I don't remember the first appearance of Lockheed. I'm sure Chet could drop it in the chat. The first appearance of Lockheed is not coming to my mind right now.
Yeah, it doesn't come up. It didn't come up yet, at least not from what we read.
I don't remember her getting him in the Secret Wars saga, but that's something that Jackson Ward Kirk is saying. I don't remember that being the first appearance officially.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts here, Ryan, on this issue and kind of what we got out of this? Sorry.
And also want to add too, with your question to Ryan here, as we do our final thoughts, we didn't grade it. So I want to get Ryan, how you would grade this issue overall as well.
Oh yeah. We usually start with that.
I
haven't done this show in a while.
Yeah. What do you think, a summer break or something?
I will, for this issue, just as what it is.
Yeah.
I'll do 3 out of 5.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Solid.
Yep. I was like, is that 6 out of 10? I got it. I got to do some math here.
6, 7, yeah.
When you first started with 3, I was like, out of 10 or out of 9.8. So I was like, oof, that's brutal.
Sorry, on Fanboys we grade out of 5. So I'm still thinking I'm on Fanboys. But final thoughts. It was there were definitely all the elements for a great story were there. Just smooth it out a little bit more. But I'm nitpicking at this point, I mean, because I've read some comic books that can't even Claremont needing to smooth stuff out is still so much better than some people's best efforts. So, yeah.
Well, no, JP, she beat you. She beat you. Sorry.
So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Justin, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it falls in the like 7 to 7.5 range for me. I don't know, maybe I think 7.5 to 8, because I do appreciate the story or some of the history, and I know for what we get anyways. With Corsair being the dad and there are some details that we didn't like fully read into, but for those who have read, where there really is some struggle for Cyclops and how he's dealing with this, and their struggle with Storm on how she's kicking herself because she feels, I could have saved him some pain if I told him earlier. Like, is that on me? Like, it's more of her questioning her leadership and her friendship. Did she make the right choice? And I think for anybody to put themselves in her shoes, it would be tough because you swore not to say anything at the same time. So, it's a lot of different situations in here and a lot of good character building and that we get from this. So I think because of that, I think I'm leaning in a little more closer to the 8. The villain still not crazy about the aliens, but it is what it is. And the rest of it was fun, and we get to see Corsair get smacked in the face. So I'm all about all that. So
I will say I was on an 8 when you put it in context with the larger X-Men universe, which I know that's kind of the opposite of what Ryan was saying.
Yeah.
Because for me, this feels part and parcel with issue 201, which is one of my favorite X-Men issues, where you see you see Storm and Cyclops fighting in a contest in the Danger Room for who will be the leader. So in a way, this is like the trailer for my favorite, one of my favorite X-Men comics ever, which is Storm versus Cyclops in the Danger Room, battling over the winner gets to be the leader of the team.
Wow.
And here you see the setup or the nugget of the idea for that.
Yeah.
So in the larger context, this is an 8 for me because I just love issue 201 so much. As a standalone, yeah, maybe it's more of a 7.5 because of some of the pacing flaws that it might be dealing with. But to all of your points, I do agree the Storm and Cyclops dynamic is nicely developed here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we are. We have broken down issue 154. We are back next week on Justin's channel for 155. Those of you that stuck around, now you get to answer awesome trivia questions, in quotes, and get a chance to be entered to win a ton of prizes when we get to our finale giveaway extravaganza. We're going to talk about mystery boxes, slabs, original art. Chet is giving away his entire collection. I got that wrong. I don't know what if Chet's giving it. He's like, no, but we're going to give away a ton of awesome stuff. And the way to get entered is just to hang around at the end of the episode, make Ryan, our guest, laugh, or give us correct answers to our trivia questions. And that's just the fun of hanging out together and talking about X-Men comics. Yep. Justin, do you want to kick us off with your first question?
Yeah, sure. And again, just a reminder, we're looking for 2 correct answers, 1 funny one. So if you see someone post the correct answer, still post it anyways, because you might still get a point. And if you don't know the answer, you can still have some fun and throw in some sarcasm or some sort of humor. And maybe Ryan will pick your answer as the funniest. So here we go. First question.
The questions are based, by the way, on the last episode of the show. Yeah. So if you tune in on Justin's channel next week, you can answer questions about tonight. We're going to be asking questions about our kickoff show last week on Justin's channel.
Yeah. So my first question is, so John and I we're always wearing some sort of shirt that has some sort of reference, usually to the X-Men in some way, shape, or form. Shout out to Tony for hooking us up with these shirts. For this question though is, last episode, what was written on John's shirt? What is the phrase that was written on John's shirt? Please.
Said, I want to X you up.
Yeah, that's our new shirt coming out.
Oh man, I need that shirt. I need that shirt.
By the way, I do know the answer to this.
Yes.
Apparently the chat doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. So far, I'm not seeing.
I see it.
I do see one. I see one. Now remember, humor always can get you a point as well. If Ryan picks your comments, so keep that in mind. I do see one correct answer. And we'll see if we get another.
Apologize. I don't know how well my microphone's working, but if you can hear my daughters arguing down the hall, I mean, sorry about that.
Nah, barely. It sounds like a TV.
Like 3 or 4, 5, 10 times tonight.
No, you're good. Okay, I think I see it here. Let me just
I see it there, even
Yes.
though
Okay.
even though I know you love it.
Yes.
Do you live for it?
Right.
And then
Michael. Yeah.
and then Michael, right?
Okay. So Chet and Soph Collector have the correct answers. Now there are some pretty good funny ones.
So let's scroll through those. My shirt said Wolverine is Canadian. My shirt said fake laugh, John.
Oh,
or he made a comment. Cyclops sucks. Even I know the truth. It said, remember, spelling is pertinent. I had to hide it. It said,
so it says Rachel Dinners.
Drooling face. I mean, that's fair. It said, I got overexcited and wrote it wrong. No, I'm just kidding. It said, thanks, Doc. Cyclops, question mark?
I'll
I'm
tell
no
you
good
what
at
the
this
answer
game
is.
because the decision of trying to decide on something funny to be say or be right makes my brain malfunction.
See, that could work as an answer. There you go.
It said Wolverine sandwich is his most dangerous weapon. It said Angel for president.
There we go.
It said Doom Wolverine is Canadian, eh?
That's great.
It was a heart in the chat. Sorry, four-way flashers. I'm sorry. Sometimes it doesn't translate to StreamYard. And then Sleepy Reader is here. What's up, Sleepy?
Sad vision.
All right,
Let's go
last
Angel for president.
I love that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, especially coming from John, you know.
Yeah,
John
Let's do that.
I had to answer my least favorite X-Men the other day on, yesterday on Roscoe's channel. And
what I wanted the
spoiler,
shirt
I chose Angel.
what I wanted the shirt to say was Diana Ross on tour.
And a picture of Dazzler as the like the opening act, right?
I like it.
Candace is right that it technically does say I live for hashtag Mutant Monday would be the exact term.
Exact way to say it. Like
but I'm not gonna be. I won't be.
Should we give Candace a bonus point?
It's down further, but yeah, it's not that one, John. But there's another one where she has the hashtag Mutant Monday.
I'm gonna give Candace a bonus point just for
the actual
nailing it 100%. So there you go, Candace. You get. I'm throwing you a bonus point there.
Nice.
Oh, now I know why I'm on the show tonight. So you can say to me, "Oh, by the way, Ryan, you have no points."
Yes.
Next week we can say that.
Yeah.
We're even giving out extras right now. Just to anyone in the chat, we start out with 1 point.
We're gonna throw out triple points tonight. All right. My first question is how did we talked a lot with Justin about Vegas? How did Justin convince his lady No Good to keep going to Vegas? How was he able to convince his wife, Lady No Good, to keep going to Vegas? There's a lot of ways this could go. A lot of ways this could go.
It's a good question.
Is Diana Ross playing there?
I mean, I would be going if that were the case. Always down for that. How is he able to convince Lady No Good to keep going? They go to Vegas a ton. I live like a drive away, and I don't go as much. And again, there's going to be a variety of acceptable answers for this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
I'm going to let Justin pick the first two correct answers. All right. I mean, I hear this to be true, but I also know it to be not true.
The phrase is "What happens in Vegas stays on YouTube." That's the phrase.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes, stays on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. I really hope nobody's live streaming their Vegas trips. Heart-shaped bathtubs. I mean, that's a winner. She has to go with or without him. I mean, there's no choice. All right. She's more of a Vegas fan than he is.
Yeah,
because she loves blackjack.
Yeah, so I was gonna say these two; those are, I think, valid answers.
Okay,
both Chet and Michael.
There you go again, coming back to back.
Yeah, valid answers. I mean, yeah,
and it's cheap because you stay on Chaos's couch.
Oh,
I mean, there's a way to go. Because the winnings won't go towards comics. He promises the winnings will go elsewhere.
It's a good deal. I got to use that next time.
Those are good reasons. I
Yeah.
mean, you need an excuse, right? He promised not to talk about or buy comics. After watching the movie The Hangover, that's how he convinced her.
We do enjoy that one.
Ryan, do you like any of those? Any of those make you laugh or at least grin to yourself?
You know what? It's I'm not taking it with the intention that it was written. I'm taking it a complete different way, which is why I'm picking it. Because she loves blackjack, I'm going to go with Michael on that. I don't know who Jack is, but
so great.
Boom.
Yeah, totally. So I actually thought that Ryan was gonna say I'm not voting for anyone just so that he keeps 1 point away.
I'm voting for me. I will be submitting my answer now and then picking it.
Yeah.
All
Nice.
you can eat shrimp cocktail, also a good reason.
Nice.
Because they don't go to a Comic-Con. I mean, no Comic-Con. That's a win, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I mean African American. It's better. I don't know. Okay, Justin. We're gonna be an hour and a half show tonight, guaranteed.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
I had
go
a
ahead and
feeling.
go. Second question.
All right. My second question is, what was John's main activity that he did over the summer break while away from the Omni X-Men?
This is not going to go well for me.
What was John's main activity that he did over the summer break while away from Omni X-Men?
Spoiler, it was not parenting. Definitely not. Mark, TMI. Were you actually with me the whole time? Come on.
Well, you want to stay hydrated, so that makes sense.
Okay. Oh, see, I took that differently.
Can I tell you what?
Don't yell at Mark. He's being very responsible.
Can I tell you what my submitted answer would have been had I been at home?
I would love to hear this.
OnlyFans.
I like
so he can
Mexican
build
food.
his collection.
It's only flans. All right, so it seems like Michael striking again, and JP making it on the boards.
There you go.
John was reading comics.
Man,
Lots of comics.
Michael's killed it tonight.
Krista says I was sheltering in place. I was acting out Legion of Superheroes comics. I was ranking 19 types of whiskey many times. Now, aggro is definitely right because soon the beard is going. Ted Lasso season is on its way. Yes. I watched soccer. That didn't happen. I mean, I watch it on the weekends when my daughter plays. Made a scrapbook of Storm. These are good.
I can see that.
There it is, just for the see. He knows who he's playing to. Practicing is Diana Ross singing in a Wonder Woman costume. Will the East German judge like that answer? Figuring out a way to de-wing Warring Worthington. That's like Apocalypse right there, right? You were cleaning off the snow off your car. I'm not doing that. He was getting buff doing 30-ounce curls. Is that like hair? Is that a hair thing? Trying to be TikTok's only to realize trying to be TikToker only to realize he's 36 years too old.
Wow.
Okay, Lasso. Ryan, who got you the most?
JP did.
All right. Damn it. I hate that guy.
I'm trying to reclaim some JP points right now. So.
Oh yeah, is that the goal?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Nice.
All right, last question of the night. We asked each other a lot of questions. My question to you is, what mutant ability did Justin pick if he could pick one? Which mutant ability, if Justin had his druthers, would he pick?
Mm-hmm. I technically have.
It wasn't Dazzler, I'll tell you that, because I gave him flack for it.
Disappointing. Disappointing for sure. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. 32-ounce curls of aviation gin. That's pretty solid. Spending 3 nights a week on YouTube with him. I mean, that was fair. We did it. All right. Super speed, teleportation, X-ray
It would be cool.
vision, turning an innie into an outie, Toad's tongue. I mean,
These are great.
I don't know the function for that, Sleepy Reader, but all right. To be telepathic. Ignore my typos. We ignore. No, we listen to all typos. All
Yes.
typos are valid here.
We embrace typos here.
Rachel Dinners.
Yes.
It was Nightcrawler? Question mark.
Man, if you didn't see this portion, you might not get this. I don't know.
If not, it was Storm.
No, I know who it was.
Yes, you were there though.
I was there,
Yeah.
but I actually remember who it was. So
So
I mean,
far,
Nightcrawler is on the right track, right?
buy five more comics. Rachel Dinners is the queen. I mean, we already have a white queen and a black queen. What is she? She's
Dinner
like
Queen.
the taupe queen.
The Dinner Queen.
Jamie Madrox, the multiple man,
That would be cool.
who is having hooves like a horse or something. That's just how I read that in my mind.
Yeah.
Did we get a single correct answer yet?
No, I think
Not
we
a
stumped him.
single one.
I think we stumped
Nobody
him.
was correct.
Which
This proves how well you all listen to Justin.
it is. Yeah, I was gonna say, right when you asked my
Nobody-
question, when I go to
nobody
give
was
my
listening.
answer,
It's funny because I got my answer 2 or 3 times, but none of your answers. No. Telekinesis is a solid choice, but it just would make me lazy. He did not pick gold balls. Janet could beat Rachel Dinners all day. Kitty Pryde, interesting pick. If I was a mutant, I'd probably be blue. Does that mean that you'd be sad? Mutants are usually sad. I want phasing power, so I think we got it now, right?
No, those
Oh.
no.
Nightcrawler's tail, but in front.
I think we're gonna have to call this one. I think we'll go with
Yeah, I get the point, Ben.
We're gonna maybe that's the rule. Maybe that's the rule.
Can
No
he
one else.
name the correct answer?
Oh, I like that. So if no one else can answer it correctly, we revert to the guest, and if the guest can, we give them the point. Otherwise,
Okay, let me think of the name. It's the one that's like Nightcrawler that can teleport but doesn't have the stinky smell. And it's one of the mutants from more recent mutant, not the ones in the era that you're reviewing now. I don't think it's Blink, is it? Blink's not the name. But it's the one that can teleport without because you talked about great, full screen. Female fourth Loretta Lynn is available now.
oh man,
Is it Azrael?
No,
No,
you're
that's
not, you're not.
Guardians.
You're not even close.
No, not even close.
I thought you said that you guys
When you
were
yeah.
talking about
That was my pick. Gateway
Yeah, when
was
you-
my pick. The guy who can create the portals and travel through space and time. Gateway was my pick.
When you said on the right track,
Mhm.
Ryan, I thought you were referencing just a very vague on the right track, as in that's a mutant. I'm like, yeah. Otherwise,
I would
no.
give me the point anyway.
So the correct answer is Domino and her love.
Domino. That's right, because
Because
love
I said
pizza.
technically I have it already. So there it is.
You love pizza.
So yes. Now we
That's
should
right, it
still,
was Domino because of the good
Domino.
luck thing. You're right.
we just talked about
totally
Vegas,
spaced
especially.
that. I did.
I
have
love
it
how
right.
he's like agreeing with you. Yeah, you're right. You are the that is your correct answer.
We
You
should
do
still
know yourself.
Ryan pick a funny answer though. Ryan,
right.
is there anything in the chat there that John was highlighting?
Well, I don't know. I like that. Just got a Loretta Lynn comic book in the mail today. That's a good.
All right, so we're gonna give it to Sleepy
You got
Reader.
Damien here on the board.
You have pleased our guests, and because of that, I'm gonna drop the link one more time for
Thank you.
Ryan's book. For those that don't know, Ryan is a published comic author. There's his graphic novel, The Story of Loretta Lynn, right there. You can buy it. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm
Yeah,
just
man.
so blown away that
Really
you kept this a secret for so long.
Yeah.
And now we're here to appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much. I will tell you that I have signed on to Tidal Wave for 2 more projects that I haven't actually written a word of yet. Mentally, I've written some of it, but I actually haven't written a word. Will it be female force Diana Ross? I don't know. You'll have to find out. So it could be, it could not be.
I need you to get that. I need that to happen so you can draw me a picture of Storm as horribly as you can on the inside cover when you sign.
Yes, exactly. Do some remarks. Yeah, Krista, this is my book.
I'm gonna get his TGC, Ryan.
Yeah, I am. As weird as it says, I'm the writer of the book. So, but thank you guys for the support. Thank everyone in the community who's just embraced this and been so kind. Thanks for having me on the show. One thing that I've saved for this moment to tell you guys. So I started a new job that's actually back in July. And when we were figuring out my hours, and they said, well, on Tuesdays, you can, shop closes at 7. They said at Tuesdays, you can stay after to set up for the next day because Wednesday's an important day.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. And when we were figuring out my schedule, they said, why don't you stay? Because I'm Central Time. They said, why don't you stay till 8? And I said, oh, no. And I agreed to 7:45 because Tuesdays at 8 Central is this show.
Love it.
And I was not going to miss the show for
Yes.
anything because while I don't have so much of a personal connection to this issue that we reviewed tonight, I have a very personal connection to the host and to the chat who put up with me. So
Nice.
just to let you know that I made that I scheduled Omni X-Men into my work life to make sure that there is no conflict with that. And that wasn't a problem. So
You're the best, Ryan. Appreciate you, man. That's cool.
But I'm looking forward to coming back later in the season. I'm going to be on for 174, which I do have a very personal connection to that story.
Oh,
so
awesome.
I'll be sharing that with you then.
Nice.
Well, Ryan, it's as always huge pleasure, and we are excited to know that you're coming back again towards the end of the season.
Yep.
And just this week, so make sure you're all subscribed. Make sure you all hit that notification bell so that next week when we're on 155, hearing about Chet and all the Rachel Dinners stories, you'll be over there to hear all of that. You won't miss any of it. Just thank you all for coming. Thank you all for hanging in the chat, for dropping funny jokes, hitting that like button, and for subscribing to Magic Lasso and Justin's channels. And we will see you back here in 1 week. Thanks, everybody. Night.
See you, gang. Peace.